Welcome everyone to the Proven Knowledge Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Church. I'm a music producer from Northeast Ohio. I began this weekly interview series to give you different perspectives from artists, producers, engineers, and other individuals in the music industry. In each episode, we touch on not only what has helped the person succeed, but we also touch on what has shaped them into the person that they are today. I hope you're able to gain some real proven knowledge from the show, and that it helps elevate you on your own journey to success as well. Let's get into it. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 289 here on the Proven Knowledge Podcast. Today I welcomed Etano to the show, aka Brass. He is an artist and podcaster introduced to me through Dom. Shout out to Dom, as always, for sending me amazing artists. And this was a really cool conversation today. He told really just kind of the synopsis of, how he became the artist he is today. Really went in depth on his most recent single, which is called God Got Me. Not only the story behind that, which I'll let you guys hear in the episode, it's a very inspiring story and one that I think is showing that he walks in a great purpose and just a great meaning and message behind what he does and who he is as an individual, but also the rollout for the track and really, the reasons why he chose to go direct to consumer using Bandcamp. We kind of have this discussion all the time about different ways to do that as an independent artist and really just, build a sense of community with the fans that you have. And it sounds like he's doing that in such a great way. And in my opinion, with such an amazing story and the type of person he is, I think he's going to be able to keep building that community and keep that message moving forward with a positive light. They can really just bring things back to him full circle in such great and fulfilling ways as he continues to put out music. And speaking of that, he's got a new album coming soon, hopefully in 2026, while he's also hosting his show, the BT5 Series, and planning a festival for September of 2026. So a huge year ahead for him. And I thank him once again for stopping by and sharing his powerful story with us today. And I hope you guys get inspired by it as well. So without further ado, let's get into this one. All right, man. Well, Etano, aka Brass, welcome to the show, man. Etano. Okay. See, I'm already off to a rough start. Firstly, I wanted to start with the name because I was kind of curious because I know a lot of people, they go through name changes or they decide eventually to kind of switch like their branding and things like that. So I guess I want to start there for you. What led to that? And do you still go by Brass here and there, or how does that work?
So I do still go by Brass here and there. Like I tell people a lot of times, it's Brass on the business, it's Etano on the music.
Okay.
So when I'm doing my podcast or when I'm just talking to people, it's common for someone to call me Brass, and I'm cool with that. Most people that know me in person know me as Brass. Yeah. So I still got people asking the question, like, what's this Etano thing? Where'd that come from? And for me, with Etano, it actually came, for anybody who is of the faith that believes in this, it came through prayer and fasting. I kid you not, I've never heard the word Etano ever in my life, ever, before it came to my ears one night while I was in the middle of a fast, because what I wanted to do was transition from who I once was to who I am as a man of God. And I knew I could not use my old name. It didn't feel right. I used the old name for things that was against God. And so I wanted something that came from God to me and something that would please him. So I remember one night I was outside running. I ran a few miles and I was fasting, and I just heard this. It sounded like somebody standing on the top of a mountain yelling, Etano! And I was like, what in the world does that even mean? So I walked around because it sounded like a cool word to me. Yeah. So I walked around just saying, Etano, just like, is that a song? Looked it up, couldn't find it at first. I was like, where does this come from? Yeah. 3 weeks after hearing that, something came to mind. It was like, go to the internet and type in Etano and look into the etymology of the name. So I did that. Looked into it. Etano branched into like 3 different languages. And I was like, okay. Broke it down some more. Etan. Oh, that means Ethan. I'm like, oh, and Ethan in English. Oh, firm, strong. That's the description of it. I'm like, okay, looked into it some more, found some Hebrewic origins in it, and come to find out that this word etano, when you enunciate it the way it sounds, is saying our Father. So at first I thought it meant, stand firm because of its origins with Ethan.
Yeah.
Went deeper and it says our Father. And so ever since that point, I've learned a lot more about the name itself, but it came to me. It's not something that I just made up out of the top of my head.
See, it's a more interesting story when it happens like that too, because I feel like a lot of times people are like, "Oh, I just like how it sounds. I just rolled with it. I don't know what it means." But I feel like when it has actual meaning, it's so much more like in depth and personal to you. And I imagine that has helped you a lot as an artist too, to kind of be able to create music that serves that purpose and serves that goal. And I know you dropped a song called "God Got Me," I think like a couple months ago at this point. So tell me about that song. Yeah, tell me about the story behind that, and then I do want to get into how you released that too, because I thought that was interesting how you did like a Bandcamp release first. But first, let's start with the story behind it, and what's it all about.
So October 10th is when I dropped "God Got Me," and for those, I don't have a problem telling my story. My story is a testimony in itself. So October 10th was the day. Crazy enough, that day holds two significant like results in my life, I'll say. So that was the day I came home from the military, and that was the day that I got on the plane, and I was like hurt. Honestly, I did not want to leave. I fought to actually stay, but it was an honorable discharge over some circumstances that literally had nothing to do with me personally, but me along with several others. Many others were sent home. And it was like a layoff, really. I was in the Air Force at the time. So I had to come back home, start fresh again after leaving college to join the military. Life took its course in some ways that were not necessarily all that great. I did go back to school, but I did have some struggles because before even me leaving to go to the military, what actually got me to do that was there was a situation in my apartment where two of my friends were actually killed. Someone shot into my apartment while I was in college, and we didn't know the guy, didn't know anything really about the guy, but shot into my house, killed two of my friends. So I wasn't able to focus on school, so I went to the military. Then was discharged from that after several months. So it was a turbulent time. I ended up in some trouble. I ended up accused of a crime and ended up having to fight the case. In the time of me fighting that case, I went to jail twice. Once for a weekend, because of course when they catch you, they gotta detain you. Then the second time, it was for a dumb situation, in my opinion, but I was arrested for a failure to appear to court, and all because my lawyer told me not to show up, and he didn't show up either. So no one showed up on my part. So they came and got me. And it took a little while for me to get out. And I kid you not, so October 9th of that year, I remember just praying and hearing, the Holy Spirit speak to me, but actually going as far as to send a messenger to me. Now, this is the part where it gets a little crazy. But a messenger came to my cell. Never seen the guy before, but apparently he said he was locked up just a few cells down and saw me come in. The guy comes to my cell, and he was like, God sent a message, for you through me. And I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking, okay. At this time period, I am not a Christian. I was not a Christian. I believed in God. I believed Jesus was God, but I didn't believe in certain aspects that people would consider to be Christian. Actually, I was a Hebrew Israelite at the time. So, having this, and I'll be raw honest, having this white guy come to my cell calling himself a messenger of God did not sit well with my doctrine at that time. But the stuff that he said, I was just like, all right, it hits the heart, it hits the soul. All right, I hear you. All right, cool. And the stuff the man said ended up happening. The next day, he said, you're going to be released. He said, you don't have a lot of time, so, You got to make the most of it. You got to spread God's word. You got to unite people. And I'm thinking, okay, my mindset at this time period was all black. I'm being honest, all black. So when he said unite different people, I'm like, if God said it, I'll do it. But God will prove it if he actually said it. And the guy said, you will not make your bed before you are released from the cell. I was on suicide watch at this point. There is no bed to make at this point. I wasn't suicidal, but craziness led to them taking everything out of my cell, and I was left basically wrapped in plastic with with nothing in my hair to hold my locks together at the time. And so I was in there just going through it. The next day, which was October 10th, they brought all my stuff back. They brought my writing pad back. So I was able to finish my second book in there too. And I was there at 9:50, and I just waited because I was like, I'm going to trust God. I'm going to trust God. At 10 o'clock, you cannot leave a jail. You cannot get out. So at 9:50, I was thinking, you know what? I'm not even going to be mad at the guy. Maybe just trying to lift my spirits. I started making my bed. At 9:55, the CO comes rushing to take me out. And I'm like, what's going on? And he says, someone posted your bail, you're out. I'm like, he said, somebody bonded you out. He said, you're out. Wow. And I'm like, I said, what? He said, yeah, it's almost lights out. Come on, we got to go. And I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah. All right, cool, I'm gone. And I said, man, I'm taking my stuff with me. I'm like, man, you believe in God? I said, man, the Lord told me I was getting out of here before 10 o'clock. You're right. I'm walking out, and I left the jail like at 10 o'clock on the dot.
Man.
And I was just thinking like, man, God, you really got me. You really said, I was folding my corner and didn't even finish before the man came and opened the cell.
Yeah.
So now I make music, and that was a few years ago, but that day has held a very significant role in my life. And it reminded me of the times where God just showed up, even in times where I was ready to give up. After the military, I was upset. I thought it was over. And I was in my early 20s at that time. But coming out of jail, again, I was thinking, man, I still got this case to fight. I'm facing 8 years in prison. I never ended up in prison. I ended up going through probation and dealing with stuff like that. But I grew from that point. I didn't fall. And so I dealt with that battle. That was honestly a 5 to 7 year battle, however you want to look at it, whether from the military to now or, however. But I've seen God come through physically, spiritually, mentally, hypothetically, so many times where now I can only just tell people, like, if you woke up this morning, God chose you to wake up this morning. So he's still working on you, and he's got you. And that's the origins, the background of that song. Man. It's my victory lap.
Wow, man. It's incredible. And it really feels like one of those turning point moments, too. You always hear about people's stories. You hear about, like you said, when you're this close to giving up, and then that big breakthrough happens, or that big moment happens where everything starts to shift. It feels like for you, that was it. You know what I mean? That was the shifty moment, for sure. So,
dude, it wasn't even in money. It's not even in finance. The thing about it is just the freedom of knowing God's got your back, and you actually believe it and you see it. $1 million couldn't bring you that kind of peace.
Yeah, and you'll never forget that moment either, which is awesome. So that's incredible. Hey there, hope you're enjoying the episode so far. I just wanted to take a quick minute out to let you know about a couple different ways that you can support the podcast. One of the ways is by clicking that support the podcast button within your streaming platform. That is if you want to be a monthly supporter of the show. You can contribute either 99 cents, $5, or $10 a month. So that's the first way, and that's the more traditional way that we've had now for the last couple years. The other method that we actually just recently introduced is from our good friends over at Ko-fi. Ko-fi is a virtual tip jar. We have set our limit to a minimum of $10, but you can go make one-time, one-off donations. So if you visit ko-fi.com/The Proven Knowledge Podcast, you'll be able to donate. And all these different forms of donation go towards getting new guests every single week, getting potential sponsors on board to do giveaways, and overall just making the show better for you guys. So if you want to do that coffee link, it's ko-fi.com/the Proven Knowledge Podcast. Otherwise, again, look for that support the podcast button in your streaming platform if you'd like to be a monthly supporter. And I just want to say thank you guys for your contributions. And without further ado, let's get back into the episode. And obviously, again, you channel a lot of this into the record as well. And I do want to touch on the way you released this song, because you ended up going direct to consumer with this track. And I saw the video you posted about it, about how, you saw a lot of support for the song and the way you went about it. So I guess talk to me about the decision to do that and go that route, because that's something that I myself and a lot of other artists are starting to do, where, obviously streaming isn't the most reliable thing these days. It's obviously reliable for reach to an extent, but for, the actual return on investment, it's not exactly the most reliable. So talk to me about, what that was like, what you learned from doing that, as the first time, and what you're going to be doing moving forward, utilizing that same method.
So the direct-to-consumer idea, this, first of all, I'm not new. I'm not the first guy to ever do it. So we've seen a lot of examples of artists having to build their fan base and actually profiting from actually going directly to their listener and actually, serving them directly instead of putting it on these major platforms and hopefully getting playlisted or paying for bots or whatever the case may be. And so for me, I wanted to challenge myself. And two, I had a renewed view on the message that I was spreading to the world. And so instead of hoping that people see my numbers and like, oh, he's good, I'll check him out, I said, no, I'm going to just go to them. I'm going to go talk to this person. I want to talk to every single person who has afforded this track, and I'm only going to sell it for $1. I want the message out there more than anything. Mm-hmm. And so the message, being, yes, God got me, got you, he's got us. But on top of, we also have to have each other. Artists are suffering in the streaming world. Real artists, people like you, people like myself, we're struggling because they can play, your friends, they might be able to put you on repeat all day long, but it's not going to repeat that song 333 times. Yeah. And that's how much $1 equals. 333 streams. Lord have mercy.
Which is crazy, because the average listener would never understand that. You have to explain it to people. You know what I mean?
You have to explain it. In order for me to have $1, you have to play my song 333 times, at least, depending on the platform that we're talking. So I would much rather 30 people download the song for $1, and if they want to donate more to the movement and they want to donate more to the message, feel free, and I do appreciate that, and I've had plenty of people do that. But I want to show people that us underground, independent, starting up artists, we don't need these big platforms to benefit the world ourselves. We can talk to people. I think now people underestimate the power of connectivity amongst people, because we're so social media driven. We're so digitally driven. And so many people don't necessarily like to interact with other people. And for me, I feel like to change the world and to make the world a better and a safer place, we must connect. I need to talk to you about God Got Me, so you understand what you're downloading, supporting, and consuming. Yeah. I don't like the idea of not being closer to my fan base or closer to my supporters, because at the end of the day, this is Christian rap. Everybody that is my listener, I'm hoping is a brother and sister as well in Christ. So connectivity matters a lot to me. And that's what inspired me to actually put it on Bandcamp. I'm wanting to grow with my fan base, rebranding, and actually getting a chance to see the money I made.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
all of that.
Yeah, it brings nothing but good things in every facet. And I love what you said, because it's really about building that sense of community. And another big thing, like you said, with the social media is you can't always reach people directly with social media because the way the algorithms work and things like that. So trying to talk more with them one-on-one is the biggest thing you can do. And then I feel like for yourself, because you have such a powerful story and such a great message and meaning attached to the song itself, it's like that right there is going to get people interested right off the bat. So it's like, why would you not want to connect with them one-on-one to actually tell them that story? So I feel like everything that you're doing with it is exactly what you should be doing with it. And congrats on that, because I think it's super awesome. And I think the possibilities, yeah, for sure. And I think the possibilities moving forward with it is going to be even more as you keep building, new releases and things like that. And so I guess my next question would be, what is kind of the next steps for you in 2026, and what are you kind of planning as your next move musically?
This 2026 year coming up, I'm going to tell you right now, I did not expect for things to pick up the way they did, but I was already working with my business partner on a festival, the Chance to Star Music Festival, which is going down September 25th through the 27th in Richmond, Virginia. And hopefully we can get you out there. But we already had auditions set up from February through the summer, all through the East Coast, and we're also adding Detroit to the schedule now. So that was already going on. Then I got my own podcast that I've been doing. We're going into season 2, which is the BT5 Series, where I interview artists, creatives, and people from different backgrounds, so people can see what's going on, not just in the urban culture is how it started, but just in the culture of creativity in general, what's going on. And got that going on. And as far as music goes, I've been working on a project for close to 3 years now. Next year will be on the 3rd year. So my plans is to release that project, but I will tell everybody now, it will be complete when God is done working with me and helping me complete it. And I know that's supernatural, and I know some people are like, so what day is that? It will be on time.
Yeah. It's here when it's here.
It'll be on time.
Yeah. Well, man, it sounds like a big, huge year ahead for sure in multiple facets. And I was going to talk to you about the podcast as well, because I haven't got the chance to check out the episodes yet, but I saw the social media page, and I think that's really awesome. I guess, what kind of led you to want to start your own show and your own platform and kind of get that going? Because it looks like you've been doing it for a little bit of time, too.
Yeah, so the BT5 series, the name itself actually started out about 4 years ago, where I used to do music reviews. And I would listen to underground artists, I would listen to mainstream music, and I would choose the top 5 songs to review and talk about, and I would put people on to the new music. So I would always mix it between the underground, independent scene and the mainstream, so people could just hear the good music coming out. And that didn't really catch on like I wanted it to, which, was fine. It was a learning lesson. But this year, the idea came back for me to actually host a podcast. And, when we were looking for a name, I said, I already got one, the BT5 series. And so brought the name back. And instead of talking about what's going on in music as far as like what are the releases, go to the artists and talk to them. Yeah. I'm plugged in with a lot of different artists, plugged in with a lot of different scenes. And my partner who actually started helping me with this idea, they came with some, and we built a team around it. And so now it's just opening different doors, and it's growing. The BT5 series is doing more now than I even expected it to do when we decided to go back on this path. So it's been fun. It's been rewarding.
Yeah.
We just recorded our biggest interview of the year yesterday, actually. So I'm ready to drop that. Got the CEO of I Swim with Sharks, Andre Williams. If you guys look him up, multiple Grammy nominations, worked with multiple Grammy winners, and is the CEO of I Swim with Sharks, but as well as my boss. So had that chance to actually sit with him and talk with them. And that episode is releasing December 12th.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I think I have him booked here in a few weeks, so I'm excited to speak to him too. But congrats on that, man. Because I think we talked about this before we started recording, how much work goes into doing the podcasting stuff. You know what I mean, and the legwork you got to put in. And I think for you, being able to kind of reposition it and kind of relaunch it, and then now you're seeing a lot of different things come from it. I think that goes to show it was definitely the right move to do. And I think the sky's the limit on that, because just I guess I can only speak from my own experience, just the different people I've been able to connect with that I never thought I would be able to connect with just through doing a platform is like so crazy. And it's people that might not even know that I make music, but then you start having conversations with them, and then that could lead to something else. So I think it's just another avenue to kind of open a lot of doors for you and what you're doing. So congrats on that. And I'm excited to check it out. I'm going to be checking it out very soon. Because that's super awesome.
Hey, appreciate it, man.
So, yeah, absolutely, man. And we're down to the last few questions here. These are ones I ask on every single episode. The first one is, if you could go back 10 years ago, give yourself any piece of advice, or maybe not change anything at all, what do you think you would do?
10 years ago? I would tell myself, you have the right idea, young sir. You have the right idea, but you need to reevaluate your team. And without putting names out there, I would literally point at the people and say, let that one go, let that one go. And all you need is this guy and this guy. That's it. Don't try to take everybody all at once. Learn before you try to run. And definitely don't give up, which giving up was never in question, but don't give up and appreciate the process. Enjoy the process.
Yeah. I think everybody can relate to that about having the right people around them, for sure. Because I think we all have our own stories now and then about that.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. If we flip that question, though, and we say 10 years from now, where do you think you envision yourself in music, but also in life in general as well?
I need some plaques on my wall, man.
Oh, yeah.
In 10 years, I would like for my music to have changed lives, have woken some people up and brought them to Christ. If they didn't know anything about the Bible, I hope it, in 10 years, I'm saying, man, they learned something about the Bible, or they were interested to learn something about it, or just build the relationship with God. You know, you could do that without even knowing how to read, people. But, in 10 years, I would like to look back with success in my music career, having done more traveling, having hit multiple stages in different regions I've never been to, and on top of that, having a family, man. I want the wife and the kids with the dog and the fence too. So that's the goal for the next 10 years, and I hope when I'm that guy, I'm looking back like, yep, you said it. You said it at the Proven Knowledge podcast, and here it is.
You got the full family, and you still got the plaques on the wall. You know what I mean? So
I want it all, man.
Yeah, man. Got to, man. And do you have any final words of wisdom for the listeners before we get out of here?
It's okay to not know everything that you want to do right now. And whether you like the guy or not, our president just got a new job. When a guy is elected president, he just got a new job. So you are always evolving. You're going to keep growing. You're going to keep going. And so never give up. Give yourself a chance, even if all that is just waking up in the morning. That's giving yourself a chance. That's giving yourself a try. You have to do that. And build your relationship with God. I'm going to say that until if the grave hits me, then that's when I stop saying that. But you have to, in order for you to live in your full purpose, take it to the one that created you for the greatest purpose. And once you develop that relationship, there's nothing a man can tell you to take you from that. You'll know for yourself. So get that proven knowledge from God, you know?
Yeah, man. Absolutely. And it's like you said earlier in the show, you said, you know, if you're waking up every single day, if you wake up another day, there's a reason why, you know. you just got to figure out what that is for you and live life to the fullest. And I think you're doing that, man. I think you're doing that for real. And I thank you again for stopping by today. And again, want to congratulate you on everything you're doing. The festival, the podcast, all the music coming up here. And I think 2026 is going to be exciting, man. So I'm going to definitely stay tapped in with what you're doing. And thanks again.
Oh, yeah, man, no doubt. And for those of you that have short films, tap in with the Chance to Star Music Festival. Music, dance, whatever you do, tap in. We're looking for the creatives on the independent level and sign whatever. Just come out. You too, man.
For sure. I'll have to check it out. No doubt. And where can they follow you on Instagram, by the way?
Guys, you can follow me at BrassOT9. Again, BrassOT9. You can find me. Stay up. I'm constantly posting on social media. I'm always letting people know what's going on. So stay up. You can DM me. You can talk to me. I'm a real person. I like to talk to real people.
Awesome. Thank you, man. Thanks, guys, for listening today. That was episode 289. We'll be back this time next week. As always, hit that support button on your podcast streaming platform if you'd like to send us any funds. And feel free to leave us that 5-star rating if you enjoyed today's episode. So we'll see you next week. Thanks, everyone.